Hello, welcome to my videos. In this time, I'm going to talk about the NFL 2023 Week 6 scores. Where this weekend we have another tremendous week in the week of games in the NFL. Where in this time we have just 15 games because this week two teams have a bye week. My favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the other was the Green Bay Packers. So let's talk about a little more about each game. Where the first game was in the Thursday night game, where the Kansas City Chiefs defeated 19-8 the Broncos Denver. To be honest, it wasn't a this game. It wasn't a very good game. It was a very defensive game, but we didn't have a lot of points. Kansas City Chiefs have the game under the control because they were leading 60-0 in the end of the quarter and fourth quarter. But in the last quarter, the Denver Broncos scored 8 points, the Kansas City another 3 points, and this was enough. So the Kansas City Chiefs won his fifth consecutive game in fifth consecutive game of the season, and his fifth game of the season, and they are leading their division. And Sunday we have another third consecutive game in international game where started the morning the Baltimore Ravens defeated 24-16 the Tennessee Titans. This was a third consecutive game in London, and the three out of five games that will be played in Europe this season. The other two will be played in Germany, I think in the 2 weeks. So this game, the Baltimore Ravens were dominate this game easily. They didn't have a problem. They were leading the game 18-3 in the halftime. They were playing better, but in the second half, the Tennessee Titans play a little better, where they reduced the game to a one possession game. But in the last quarter, the Ravens played better, improved this game like the first half, and they won the game 24-16. Got it for win of the season, and they're leading their division, the AFC North. On the games that started in the first shift, the Miami Dolphins defeated 42-21 the Panthers and got its fifth win of the season. In this game, the game was a surprise because the Carolina Panthers started to winning the game 40-0 in the first quarter, but later the Miami Dolphins remember that they are in this moment the best team in the AFC, and they scored 35 points without answer, and in the end they have the game. 28 points without answer. No, 35 points without answer, and in the end they won the game 42-21 and got his fifth victory of the season. And in this moment, the Miami Dolphins are leading the AFC alongside the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Carolina Panthers are still the only winless team in the season, and it looks like they are going to have the first pick in the next draft. Another game, the Houston Texans defeated 20-13 the Saints. This was a very close game, but this game was decided in the first half, where the Houston Texans took a 4-point lead, and that was enough to win the game. In the second half, both teams played better. Both teams. In the second half, the game was dominated by the defense because each team just scored 3 points, and in the end, the Houston Texans won his third game of the season, and the New Orleans lost his third game of the season. And in another game of the first shift, the Washington Commanders defeated 24-16 the Falcons. To be honest, this was a surprise for me because I didn't expect that the Washington Commanders were gonna to win this game. I thought that Atlanta Falcons were gonna to win this game because they were playing in his home, in his stadium, and the last couple of weeks, the Washington Commanders didn't play a very good football. And remember that they lost 2 weeks ago in the Thursday night football against the Chicago Bears in a full game for them. But in this game, the Washington Commanders played better. They were leading since the second half, and they held the lead all the game, and this was enough to win the game 24-16, and both teams have the same record 3-3. And in the divisional game, the Jacksonville Jaguars are defeated 37-20. The Indianapolis Colts. Jacksonville Jaguars are playing a tremendous football in the last 3 weeks, because remember that in the last 2 weeks they traveled to London, to England, and they played 2 games. They won both games, and they won this game easily, in part because they are better than the Indianapolis Colts in this moment. But the Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson didn't play this game, and it looks like that this is not gonna to play anymore in this season, because she's gonna to get a season-ending surgery, and maybe he's gonna to sit all the year. So the Jacksonville Jaguars have the control of the game. In the first quarter, it was a surprise because the Indianapolis Colts were leading the game 3-0, but later the the Jacksonville Jaguars took the lead. Yeah, they were leading the game 21-6 in the halftime. They were leading 31-6 in the end of the third quarter, and in the end, the Indianapolis Colts scored 40 points in the last quarter, but because the Indianapolis Colts, no, sorry, but the Jacksonville Jaguars had the control of the game, and with this, the Jacksonville Jaguars won his fourth game of the season. In another game, the Cincinnati Bengals defeated 17-13 the Seattle Seahawks. This was a very close game, but the big difference was that the Joe Burrow played a regular game, and because the Cincinnati Bengals play in his home. This is the second consecutive victory of the Cincinnati Bengals, that now they have a record 2-3, and they are in 500, and they have two consecutive victories. This was a very ugly game. Sorry. This was a very ugly game, but in the end, they won this game, and they got his win of the season. And in the game, that the two teams that are one of the worst teams in the league, and in the divisional game, the Minnesota Vikings defeated 19-13 the Chicago Bears, and got his second victory of the season. This game wasn't a very good game. It was very bad to watching, but in the end, the Vikings was less worse than the Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota got the second victory of the season. There is no anymore to say. And one of the surprises of the season, the Cleveland Browns defeated 19-17 the 49ers in Cleveland. Remember that in my prediction the last week, I told you that the Cleveland Browns were gonna to be a very tough game, for a very tough rival, and this will be a very tough game for the 49ers, because remember that the Cleveland Browns have a very good defense, and there is always a problem when a West Coast team travel to the East Coast and play in the first shift in the 1 p.m. So this was a very close game, but the 49ers didn't play a very good football, especially Purdy, where Christian McCaffrey and Devo Samuel got injured. They didn't finish the game, and the game was very close. The San Francisco 49ers were going to win the game, but his kicker missed the field goal. He fouled the field goal. And with this, the Cleveland Browns defeated 19-17 and got its third win of the season, and the San Francisco got its first loss of the season. And in a game that was very, very ugly played, both one of the worst teams in the league, the Las Vegas Raiders defeated 21-17 the New England Patriots. This was a very, very ugly game to watch it, but in the end, Las Vegas Raiders were a little better than the Patriots, and this was the difference to win the game 21-17. The Raiders got his third victory of the season, and with this they have a record of 500, and the Patriots lost his fifth game of the season, and they just have one win in the season, and they are going to fight to win the first pick of the next draft. Sorry. This game, Raiders Patriots started the second shift of the games in the last Sunday. And in a game that in the next game, the Detroit Lions defeated 26-6 the Buccaneers as a away team. The Detroit Lions didn't have any problem to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Lions dominate all the game, and they have an easy game. And they defeated 20 to 6, and Detroit Lions got its fifth victory of the season, and they are leading the NFC alongside the 49ers and Eagles. In another game, in a divisional game, the Los Angeles Rams defeated 26-9 and the Cardinals. This game was closer than the people thought. Closer than the people expected because this was a divisional game. The game was very close in the halftime where we didn't have any. Each team didn't score any touchdown. The Arizona Cardinals were leading the game 9-6. But in the second half, there was another difference because the Los Angeles Rams play better, improve its game in both sides of the ball, where they play better in the offense. They scored 20 points without answer. The Los Angeles Rams the defense didn't allow any points, and the Los Angeles Rams won the game 26-9 and got his third victory of the season. And now they are a record of a 500 record. And in the last game of the second shift, another surprise, the second surprise of the day, the New York Jets defeated 2014 the Philadelphia Eagles. And with this loss, the Eagles are not anymore undefeated because they lost his first game of the season. This game was very close. Both teams play better, especially the New York Jets. But remember that the Philadelphia Eagles weren't playing very good football in the last 2 weeks, especially in the offense. And in the end, the Jets were better team. They took advances for the giveaways that the Philadelphia Eagles did. And the New York Jets defeated 2014, and with this victory, the Jets have a record, 500 record 3-3, and the Eagles suffer his first loss of the season. And in the Sunday Night Football, this was a very ugly game. The Buffalo Bills defeated 14-9 the Giants. This game was very ugly. The Buffalo Bills didn't play a very good football. But they won this game because the New York Giants are worse team are worse team than the Buffalo Bills, and the New York Giants didn't took advantage for the opportunities that the Bills left to the Giants. The New York Giants were leading the game 6-0 in the halftime, but he was a very important play in the last play of the halftime. The Giants have the opportunity to make a field goal, but they decide to run the ball instead of pass the ball and stop the time. They decided to run the ball, and they couldn't stop anymore the clock. And instead of were leading the game by 13 point difference or 9 point difference, they just were leading by 6 point difference. In the second quarter, the Buffalo Bills improved this game, especially in the last quarter where they scored 14 points, and this was the difference to win the game. In the last play of the game, the New York Giants have the opportunity to score. They have the ball inside the red zone. No, inside the red zone, but the quarterback threw the ball. But it looked like that the New York Giants wide receiver didn't catch the ball, the football, but it looked like that it was a penalty. But in the end, the referees didn't call it, and the Buffalo Bills won his fourth game of the season. And in the last game of the week, in the Monday Night Football, sorry, this was the Sunday Night Football, and in the Monday Night Football yesterday was played the game where the Cowboys defeated 2017 the Chargers. To be honest, this was another ugly game where both teams played a very, very bad football because both teams have a very bad. They did a very bad decision, a lot of penalties and bad execution. But in the end, the Cowboys was better team than the Los Angeles Chargers and defeated 2017, and the Cowboys got this for win of the season. To be honest, the Chargers always look for ways to lose the game because they have a lot of talents, but they don't know how to win the game. To be honest, in this week we have a lot of bad games. For example, this game, the Monday Night Football, the Sunday Night Football, the Raiders against Patriots was a very bad football game. And also, this we have a lot of errors. Also here in the Chiefs Broncos, so we had a lot of bad games. To be honest, the NFL will need to check this because I have seen since the last 2 to 3 seasons that the NFL football level is downing because I don't know what is going to happen, but to be honest, this week we had a lot of very bad games with a lot of penalties and errors for each team. So, how are the standings? First in the AFC, in the AFC East, the Dolphins are leading the division with record of 5-1. The Bills are second with record of 4-2, and the Jets record 3. It looks like that these three teams are going to fight to enter to playoffs and for win the division. And the Patriots, they are going to fight to get the first pick of the NFL draft 2024. In the West, the Chiefs are creating that gap. They are leading this division, and it looks like that the Raiders and Chargers are fighting to enter to playoffs, and the Broncos are fighting to the first pick the next draft. In the AFC South, this is the closer division in the NFL in this moment. All the teams have a record of 500 or up. In this moment, the big difference is just one game. In this moment, the Ravens are leading the division. The Steelers, Browns are tying the second place, and the last place are the Bengals. But this game is very close. Can change everything in the next week. And the last division and the South division, this is also another close division. Sorry, where the big difference is just 2 games different between the first and last place. The Jaguars are leading this division. In the second place are tied the Colts and the Texans, and the last place are the Titans. But it's very close this division. And in the NFC, starting with the East, the Eagles are leading this division with record of 5-1. The Cowboys are there with record of 4-2, and the Washington Commanders with the record of 3. Any of these teams can fight to win this division, but it looks that there will be between the Eagles and Cowboys, and the Washington are going to fight to enter as a wildcard team, and the Giants will fight for the NFL first pick in the next draft. In the West, the 49ers are creating that gap. They are leading this division. The Seahawks and Rams are in the second place, and the Cardinals are fighting for the next first pick in the NFL draft. In the North Division, the Lions are creating this gap. There is 3 victories difference between these 2 teams, and the Packers and Vikings are going to fight to enter to playoffs, and the Bears fighting for the next NFL first pick. And in the last division, the NFC South, the Buccaneers, this is another close division where the Buccaneers, Falcons, and Saints have the same record. The only difference is that the Buccaneers have one last game, and they're going to fight to win this division. And the Panthers in this moment are the worst team in the league, and it looks like that they're going to win the NFL first pick in the next draft. So here's one opinion about what happened in the NFL week 6. See you next video. Gibran.